Happy New Year, everyone. This is Chris Naji. Today, we are here to talk about uh, the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu. Betta Edu. We heard about all the scandal going on with the disbursement of funds to the poor people called Palliative under the Ministry of Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation. From her own explanation, we had that she is transferring the money to another account to be able to dispose the money to the poor. But my questions now remain: why does the money have to be withdrawn cash to give it to the so-called poor people? Why can't the government set up a program or a voucher system, a food voucher system that those funds are paid into, so that those funds can properly be channeled to the purpose that the government wanted the funds to go into? Those funds should only be used for food. So we can call them food voucher. Every country in the world does it. Why would the government want to withdraw cash? Or why would the minister want to withdraw cash to give to the poor? This happened during the Buhari regime. The same scandal. Why does the government have to withdraw cash? Why can't the government create a voucher system or a debit card form like voucher system where the funds are paid into those accounts? So if the government wants to increase their payment, they pay into those accounts. And those funds are better accounted for if they are paid into a card, into a voucher card. Because anybody who has a voucher card must have an NIN number. It is easy to trace it. And those cards should specifically be used in grocery, for grocery only. Why do we have to give them cash? Giving them cash means that they can spend the funds on whatever they want to. Some may end up spending the funds on drugs directly. Some may end up spending the funds on imported goods. Or the funds might not even get to the poor people and we cannot trace them. All that we'll do, we'll put up a long line and say we gave 20 million people so amount of money as cash. At this digital age, we should we should pass the level of trying to give people cash. Everybody should be able to get a debit card like a voucher system. And those cards or those disbursement can be not dated properly. Why do we have to give them physical cash? Another thing I really need to point out is it looks like the so-called political appointees do not know what to do. We bring them in because they are friends or they are family or because of the political donors, the people they want to bring in. Yes, I don't care if you bring them in, but when you bring them in, train them. When you bring them in, train them. Let them know that they need professional aides to work for them. They need people who understand that field to work for them, like an aide. That is the reason why you pay them that much. So they should be able to take advice from those aides. They should be able to take advice from those aides that work for them. Releasing such amount of how many millions or how many billions of naira to somebody say, oh, it's poverty elevation, go and give it to the poor. How do we define who are the poor ones? And in which account are we putting the money into? In somebody's account. So the money sits in somebody's savings account until the person disburses the money. We keep on repeating these same mistakes. And the government is busy telling the citizen should trust the government. How can the citizen trust the government when this same thing keep on reoccurring? It means that we just stand and appoint somebody without looking at the people's background, without training the people that we are appointing. Nigeria is at the lowest level of economic psychology, a, a level that the citizen does not trust any economic policy that we make. That's the same reason why they hoard funds. That is the same reason why they change their money to the dollar and to save it. The same reason why they keep money under the bed. We have to learn how to get out of some of these things. What does the minister got to do with the physical disbursement of cash? They have some permanent staffs of the ministry there. If we don't, we should create agencies in each senatorial zone and let them be able to liaise with the so-called poor people in their own locality. And how do we define who are the poor ones? This minister did not even do those background checks. We Nigeria keep on repeating these same mistakes again, again, and again, and we expect a different outcome. If one minister made the same mistake, we're doing the same thing. Nigeria, what is wrong with us? Does it mean we can't get things done right? Does it mean we don't know what to do? And if the government wants to really elevate poverty by trying to improve the living standard of these people, the government should focus on feeding them, not because we can't elevate the poverty, we can't improve them. We should focus on some basic things like food stamps for them, for the groceries. We can't be talking about giving them cash. And those money should pass through the financial system. Nigeria, we need to sit up. We keep on losing the trust from the common man. Nigeria has gone far below economic hardship. Now we are now in economic psychological hardship, and which is the worst part to deal with because we have to pull them out from that trust problem for them to trust the economy, for them to start trusting the naira, but not with what is going on. What do you guys really think? Should the minister have withdrawn the cash out to give them cash? We understand that they suspended the minister as at today, January 8th. But suspension does not solve the problem. We need to train the ministers. We need to train the aides. We need to train people in the ministry. If the government has an objective or a target in mind, they needed to be trained on how and what the government need those funds for. What is the purpose of why the government is giving out those funds? And they need to delegate it to the senatorial agencies. We need to create agencies, not trying to disburse the money from the top. This is how we mess up the whole money system. And we need to create a food voucher, like a debit card, that they can spend in the store to buy groceries. We need to make sure that those funds are not being used to buy clothes. Those funds need to be used to buy groceries only. And we need to find a method to know who are eligible to this debit card or the voucher. Who do we give them to? How do we? What are the criteria that we can use, excuse me, to identify people to get the funds? We can't loosely keep that money in the open and say the poor people should come and get. Whichever minister they appoint there, we still do the same thing. We need to create a system. We need to create a voucher that these people can use in form of a debit card that they can use to buy groceries only. And those vouchers should be linked to an account with a limited funds. And those people can keep the debit card. So when they want to give them money for next time or next month, all they'll simply do is transfer funds to the account. And those funds can be accounted for. Please, if you are in charge of the ministry, what would you have done? And the best way to disburse this money?